good day, PHDEM Class 709. So this is Christopher Sager and I'm about to discuss the case something to do with employment ethics. So I choose this study because I think it is recent and it's been a big issue nowadays. So this is something to do with ethical responsibilities in the employer-employee relationship, which is the ABS-CBN's way. So we know that ABS-CBN is one of the largest broadcast network. Okay, so as it's said that ABS-CBN Corporation is a Filipino media and entertainment group which is based in Quezon City, Metro Manila. So it has something to do with media entertainment because according to them, ABS-CBN has the biggest media entertainment which comprises all conglomerates business. Okay? The next is something to do with revenue. As stated, according to the record, ABS-CBN has 40.13 billion in terms of revenue. Revenue means it is the money that uh, brought into the company. Okay? And also, ABS-CBN has 8.053 billion in terms of operating income. So the income comes from the operation. So that would be mean by operating income. And also, as income as stated, the net income of ABS-CBN is sum up with 1.9 billion pesos. So, wow, what a big amount. So, 1.9 billion is very, very big for ABS-CBN. Okay? And another thing is also ABS-CBN has more asset. What are those assets such as the people? They have the ABS-CBN Broadcasting Company, the Regional Broadcasting Center, the Amcara, because they are tied up with the Amcara, as stated, it is affiliated. Okay, they are affiliation. And then we have also the TV box or the black box. Okay, that gain that should brought in huge asset for ABS-CBN. Okay, the next one is something to do with equity. Yeah, we know that ABS-CBN has a total of much equity. Even this is very very big for ABS-CBN. And also, as stated, we have the market share or market capitalization of ABS-CBN. Okay, they are also engaged with almost 227.81 million if we talk about the market, the book value or the book per share, value per share. So that's very huge. And then we have here, syempre, we have the employees as stated by ABS-CBN that they have 11,000 employees, but it turns out according to the study brought in the hearing that it is they have also there are 4,000 regular employees and the other is such a project-based employee and then contractual. So, but in other words, in the real world, the employee of ABS-CBN is 4,000 for the regular because the regular employee are those who receive benefits, mandatory benefits from the government. It is very ethical that the employees receive their benefits. Okay? So ABS-CBN may have jacked up the members of its employee when it said that 11,000 workers, but as stated niya, it is more than just 4,000 regular employees, as stated by BIR, and then according to the payment of those mandatory benefits. So, we have now the Kapamilya Way Code of Ethics. So, yan. If we talk about ethics, it is something to do with right and wrong. It is something to do with philosophy. It is something to do with integrity, with such this words. Moral, right, fairness, responsibility, conscience. And to elaborate more, ABS-CBN exists to be in the service of the Filipino. In living up to its core values, ABS-CBN upholds its commitment to the highest standard of business, personal, and ethics in the conduct of every kapamilya duties and responsibility. So, meaning, supposed to be that ABS-CBN align their operation, align their services, align all their um, align or their good in their standard operating procedure in the ethics as stated in their code of ethics. So, I have listed here the ethics or the values that ABS-CBN should profess. Okay, so the Kapamilya Way described the special way by which ABS-CBN employees behave according to the core values. So number one, as stated, it is something to do with honesty. It's something to do with integrity. It is something to do with respect. It is something to do with the excellence they provide to those consumer or clients. It's something to do with the meritocracy. Okay? It is something to do with their teamwork. And it is something to do with teaching. But there is a question. Is these values being applied to ABS-CBN? Okay? That's a big question for now. Okay? So let's go to the second slide. So we go now to the application of ethics, application of employment ethics. So here we can notice that among those values, is there any one that could applicable to the ABS-CBN? Okay, so we go first. So as I have said earlier, that ABS-CBN go a lot of troubles that group. They are in droughts, no? They are in droughts. As the 70 congressmen denied the renewal of their franchise. It is being a problem for the ABS-CBN and to their employees and to the whole ABS-CBN system. Okay? And as ABS-CBN being denied in their franchise, what may their employers do in response to the denial? So that would be a big question. What are the action of their bosses? We are talking about employment ethics because they hired employees, so they are responsible for applying, for giving what are the values that they may give to their employees in respect to the service that the employees rendered to them. Okay, so they are the employees. So these are the employees. This is the bosses. Okay? So what is the connection? Number one, is there a relationship between the employees and the employer? Because we are talking about employer and employee relationship. So what happened? Is there action for the employers for the employees? I mean, what are the action? Something to do with the retrenchment program. Is the employers provide separation pay or the mandatory benefits to those employees who are being retrenched or laid off? They're supposed to have for the employees to start again. Okay, that will be a good employment ethics, that the employer should have a better and a good relationship with their employees. As stated, we have the employee relationship. Okay, so how about the second one, the application of employment ethics? Dismiss, the case closed, you're fired, meaning you don't have work tomorrow. It is something to do with illegal dismissal. In what case? Look at what happened in Jason sa I think Pelchanco, Weng Hidalgo, Jobert Socaldito. They filed case against illegal dismissal. For what reason? The reason is unethical actually. It's not accurate to the values that they portray. So another problem is illegal dismissal because the ABS-CBN or the employers do illegal firing to those employees, to those qualified employees. Okay? As I've watched the hearing about the illegal dismissal, it is very true. As according to the accused. The accused is the Jobert Socaldito, the Jason Sa. But as according to them, they really uh, uh, illegally fired. So that's the case. It's very wrong to the employment ethics. Okay? Next is something to do with this one. We look at the graph, it is being down. So meaning the performance of the business is decreasing. But as it is decreasing, because if the business is decreasing or there's no income or revenue brought in, meaning maybe the head or the boss hold the share, diba? Parang kinukuha nila yung share. Okay? And what is that? Because you're the boss, you are the head, uh, you are the authority. So what is this ethics? It is something to do with mismanagement. Why? Because the employer doesn't know how to manage their business properly. What are their purpose? To gain profit. Kabig lang ng kabig, kuha lang ng kuha. But how about those employees? Hinahayaan nilang mag-rally yung mga empleyado, pero si Mr. The Chairman Emeritus Gabi Lopez just get the share and move to States. Okay, what happened to Invisible is just because of the mismanagement. Who suffer? Employee. It's also against, parang there's no concrete plan on the employers on how to uh, parang parang how to make their employee to become successful also like them. But because parang napaka self-centered ng mga bosses. Okay? Yeah, so yeah. How about this one? Siyempre, we are talking about the right way and the wrong way. Who are those in the right and who are those in the wrong way? Okay? It is something to do with empathy, putting yourself in the shoes of other. So it is something to do with moral obligation. What is the moral obligation of ABS-CBN to their employees? What happened today? The Nakikita ba natin ang mga big bosses of ABS-CBN going to the street and making noise barrage? Parang no. There's no boss who are there in Nose Barrage. We have Angel Oxin, we have the employees. And what happened to the boss? Hindi nga natin makita sila nagpupupukpok doon para mag-ingay sa Nose Barrage. It is only the employees. Eh, it is the moral obligation of their bosses on how to aakayin their employees. That would be a good thing, eh. Diba? If their boss disciplined well, the employees will follow. Parang there is a gap between the boss and the employees. Saan ba magaling ang ABS-CBN? Sympathy. They're getting the sympathy of the people. Okay? I don't know. It is because I am in favor of denial of franchise for ABS-CBN, so that I choose this topic, the ABS-CBN's way. I'm not against the employee. I have also my sympathy for the employee, but I know that if their company has a great plan or strategic action, contingency plan for their employee, I think the employees would make a start. Makabawi ang empleyado. Okay? So, it is something to do with moral obligation of the employers to their employee. Another one is this one. Another big issue. It is against the employment ethics. How about this one? The girl and the boy who is being molested. Okay? So it has something to do with the sexual harassment. Excuse me. So if we talk about the sexual harassment, there is a report being filed by Gretchen Pulido, the one of the newscaster of ABS-CBN, as stated there that uh, her boss want to do something which is against the sexual, which is about sexual harassment. Okay? So what could be if Gretchen Pulido uh, doesn't follow the rule or the doesn't follow her boss, she is being fired. Okay, so that is very wrong. That is also against employment ethics. So what would be the ABS-CBN address for that? They should create a plan. They should create uh, orientation or dapat ba meron silang guidance counselor for those, not just for the employees, but also for the, not just for the lower level of management rather, but also for the middle level of management, the managers, the supervisory. Okay, they're supposed to have orientation for the sexual harassment, for the betterment naman kasi. Okay, So another thing is such as this one. Okay, they are looking, even they have the blindfold, but they select which is according to them is best. Okay, yung parang self-centered sila na yung naiisip nila tama. Okay, hindi nila alam na sila ba ay nagiging bias for that, because another issue is bias reporting. Okay, as also napanood ko sa hearing, it's really the bias reporting in putting, ano ba tawag, high headlines. Talagang makikita natin that they are against the current government, which is very wrong. As a reporter, uh, as you are engaged in, as ABS-CBN is engaged in media, they need to be fair and just in all the headlines, in all the reports. Okay, sobrang bias talaga. Okay, dun sila magaling kumuha ng sympathy sa mga tao. Okay, and I think the people now is parang wise enough naman to choose which is wrong and right, because meron tayong personal ethics, to know the wrong and the right. Okay, ayan. So, So, ayan, we go to the proposed solution and changes. So, sige, for me, I think as a law, because the law prevails, the denying of renewal of franchise, so the management must provide the mandatory benefits to their employees, such as the separation fee and other bonuses from, or and for the employees to have startup. Kaya nga sabi ko kanina, employees should not stop on making rally, on making noise barrage, ano, dapat nag-look forward sila. Yun nga ay kung merong binigay si employer nila ng mandatory benefits. So, dapat CBN should give mandatory benefits para naman dun sa mga tao na makapagsimula sila. Yun yung tinatawag natin relationship ng employer at employee na hindi natatapos pag ikaw ay na-fire. Okay? The management must be visible and accept the fact that they somehow not follow the Constitution. In the side of ABS-CBN bosses naman, it is also good workplace ethics or good philosophy if they accept that nagkamali talaga sila. Yun naman yung maganda. Pero hindi, parang hindi nila ina-accept na nagkamali sila. As stated in the hearing, napakadami talagang hindi nasagot. Pero hindi pa din nila sinasabi na nagkamali sila. At ang ginagawa nila, sympathy to the people. Sobrang ethical problem. But it is a must that every company has an employer-employee relationship. So, dapat mag-create ng guidelines on how to have a good and proper employer-employee relationship. Create a guidelines. So, what should be the responsibility of an employer and what should be the responsibility of the employee, and then match those responsibilities. Okay? Eh bakit pa ang daming mga contractual na cameraman na hindi ma-renew, na hindi ma-regular? Eh, walang guidelines. There's no guidelines. Eh ang Dole kasi, I don't know what happened, what is the relationship between ABS-CBN and Dole, why those instances happen. Okay? Business ethics should serve as a guide in business operations. Sadya naman, di ba? We know that the business ethics or the business philosophy should also be a guide in all business in providing service and having their operations. Okay? So, there must be a proper retrenchment plan for those employees. Kagaya nga sabi ko kanina, hindi natatapos ang relationship ng employer at employee habang sila ay within the organization. But even if they are fired, siyempre merong contingency plan si employers how to help. Especially, the case naman is not illegal firing. The case is the non-renewal of ABS-CBN, which is, for me, it is outside the, parang external to the part of ABS-CBN. Parang uncontrollable on the part of ABS-CBN. Hindi naman nila mapipilit ang batas. Kahit na dalhin natin siya sa spit analysis or pestle analysis, it would be external, the government. Okay? Or the political aspect. Since the cases are already closed and for the management, it is good for them to, in the new start, to provide guidelines and protocols and eliminate instances like what happened as I've said earlier na so close na yung kanilang franchise if they are given another business. Pwede naman nilang i-operate ulit yan. Ano yung gagawin nila? Change the ownership. Okay? Pwede yung anak nila, apo nila, gano'n. Okay? Siguro mga fourth degree of consanguinity and affinity, I don't know what is the law if we talk about the closing of renewal. Kasi sabi nila, the Lopezes talaga, hindi na sila magmamay-ari. So what happened? Siguro, uh, if fourth yung malayo ka mag-anak, pwede naman siguro yun. Okay? Okay? What happened? Ano gagawin nila? Di sila, magagawa na ngayon sila ng proper guidelines na kung saan ipapakita nila yung kanilang business philosophy, susundin nila yung kanilang business philosophy para wala silang labagin na employment ethics. Yun yung maganda doon. It is a lesson learned. Okay? The biased content of ABS-CBN social media posts as against the workplace ethics. Kaya nga nasabi ko kanina, kasi sila ay bias kung nababiolate nila yung kanilang meritocracy, yung kanilang integrity. Okay? Kasi nga, they are biased. Okay? So, this would be my recommendation for ABS-CBN. Okay? So, every organization, whether big or small, sole or corporation, must follow a law and regulation set by the government. To the executive, their function is to maintain the fair and just implementation of ethical issues. Okay? Andyan na yun. Political, management, and employees. So, they are aligned to the business and workplace ethics. Okay? Dapat naman talaga. Sabi ko nga kanina, ang ethics, ang business philosophy serve as their Bible in doing business. Okay? Make a workplace ethic which is visible to the stakeholders. Paano to? Stakeholders, we are talking about stakeholders. So, pwedeng yung kanilang mga clients, kanilang mga customer, pwedeng yung kanilang mga employees, internal and external employees, their bosses, their shareholders. Dapat every corner, may visible, ito pala yung aming ethical, ito pala yung aming business ethics, ito pala yung employment ethics, mababasa, makikita, malalaman kung ano yung kanilang mga ethical considerations. Important also to create the standard operating procedure and disclose it to the intermanagement. Dapat ipakita. Ito yung SOP natin, standard operating. Napakahalaga. Sabi ko nga, in business, SOP is serve as Bible also, wherein it protect us to do wrong. Kasi naando na yung parang nagluluto ng sinigang, pag may recipe ka, perfect yung luto mo kasi pinalo mo yung recipe. Okay? Ayan. So, do only what is intended to the betterment of the organization, employees, and end user. Yun naman talaga mahalaga. No? Do what is better for their employees and stakeholders. Okay? Provide legal counsel to address any employment I think meron naman sila nitong legal counsel, mga attorneys, Pero ang mas maganda kasi, ang i-recommend ko dito ay hindi lang yung mga big bosses ang may legal counsel. It should be legal counsel for the top management, legal counsel for the middle management, and legal counsel for the employees. No? Para maging aligned talaga sila, para maging aware talaga sila kung ano yung pinaglalaban ng kanilang ethical work, ng kanilang workplace ethics. Eliminate any ethical issues such as harassment, sexual malicious intent, libel, and other which is against the workplace ethics. Ayan, kung meron na tayong mga workplace ethics na visible sa mga corner ng ating business, we should be mai-eliminate na natin kasi meron na tayong nakikita. May sanction, syempre, pag in orientation, it should be addressed properly. No, yung workplace ethics natin, na bawal iyan, maa-address naman yan sa if nag-conduct ng magandang orientation. For the employee, they need to be aware in all practices by management and follow its rule and regulation. So, the management should provide a guideline and contact the imposed. Ayan yung pagiging bias nila. Dapat magkuha na sila dyan, mag-create na ng guidelines na sinusunod para hindi na naging bias. And that's it. I have here my resources. Ayan po. Okay, so thank you so much. Once again, this is Mr. Versalia and I am under the PhD 709 Human Resource, and I am now done in my case analysis, which is against the ABS-CBN in their implementation of employment ethics. So thank you so much and God bless.